Good morning, everyone. This is John Browning with Guardian Rock Wealth at guardianrockwealth.com. This is not investment advice. If you would like personal investment advice, reach out to us at guardianrockwealth.com or text the word life to 321-421-5213. We record the morning update every single morning on Substack for you to cut through the noise and get your day started off right. It is a happy feel-good Friday, although maybe not so feel-good as stock prices are down just a little bit, not a whole lot. Oil prices hanging in there at 75.22, and the 10-year yields are up, which means prices are down just a little bit at a 4.10. And for those of you wondering why your 30-year mortgage is not dropping further, I've got more bad news for you. It ticked up to a 6.3%. up from about 6.1% for that 30-year mortgage last week. And we've got Bitcoin just kind of hanging out there around that resistance level in the $60,000 level, 61,220 last time I looked this morning. CPI yesterday ticked down just a little bit at 2.4%. Annually is what it looks like now. And then we have the jobless rate, which increased to 258,000. So that means the market is feeling a bit like there might be more of a chance of a bigger rate cut coming up. And of course, that debate is likely to continue. And frankly, for the long-term investor, it doesn't matter all that much. It's just something to watch, something to maybe make minor adjustments to. But again, these headline things that get people all upset, not necessarily something that deserves a knee-jerk reaction. We've got the core CPI today, as well as PPI numbers, and we have consumer sentiment. And of course, as we've talked about before here on the show, consumers drive this economy and this market. So pay close attention there. We had Wells reporting yesterday. We had BlackRock reporting. Both had pretty good numbers. Wells, although Wells did have a net interest income that was less than expected, but the price of Wells stock up about 3%, it looks like right now. And BlackRock also heading up. TD Ameritrade got some bad news. They were accused of and found guilty of allowing a lot of money laundering to go on into the billions of dollars. And they are going to be fined and also will have their growth capped at current rates for a while. Kind of like what happened to Wells several years ago. And Wells just now coming out of that area of their penalties, so to speak. So there's some expectations that Wells could continue to do better as they've made those adjustments, paid their debt to society, so to speak. Yesterday, Tesla, again, not investment advice. I want to stress that this is not investment advice. We do mention individual companies on this show. It doesn't mean you should buy or you should sell or anything else or hold or anything. All it means is that we have a little bit of news coming out on these particular companies. So, in full disclosure, we often own, we may have sold some of these companies as well. It all depends. We create portfolios for our clients that are very unique to each and every individual and personal portfolio. So again, not investment advice. But Tesla did report on there. They had their events showing their new robo-taxi. And of course, it's almost like a political event. You're either on one side or the other, whether you like Tesla or you don't like Tesla. But essentially, as I mentioned a few days ago, the anticipation was so high regarding this Tesla robo-taxi event where Elon was revealing their plans that it just wasn't quite good enough. The details weren't there for analysts. And as kind of expected here, we kind of mentioned this could happen. We're down about 6% in Tesla stock. Just wasn't quite enough for people to get as excited as I think Tesla had hoped. We've got they're talking about a $30,000 car that would be a robo-taxi. And then they also did unveil another one that would house 20 individuals that would again be fully autonomous and wouldn't have a windshield. It looks kind of cool. That's a technical term. that would also come to market. Again, they continue to say this is going to begin to happen in certain key states and cities next year in 2025. So, and they are also expecting that within a certain number of years that this service will be up to 90% of the value would be generated from this, and only about 9 or 10% would be from the actual sale of the cars. So that's pretty interesting as well, especially when you consider all the other things that Tesla has going on with their battery technology, their solar technology, and everything else. Hurricane Milton, again, as we began to assess the damage, it looks like it's not going to be as bad as we had thought. Originally, it was supposed to be up to $175 billion in damages. Looks like it might be closer to $60 billion in damage. Still a major issue. Lots of damage still being assessed, and we'll just have to wait and see what that means. And again, as I mentioned yesterday, there is this thing in economics called creative destruction, which means that you'll build back better, so to speak, to borrow a term. And other news, we've got solar storm. So I don't know a whole lot about solar storms, but evidently we're going to be able to see the northern lights as far south as Alabama. So those of you who live in Alabama may have a rare chance to see this. And you say, why does that matter for anything? Well, it impacts GPS systems and power grids, and it's due to this electromagnetic bombardment due to a solar flare that happened way up above us. And it's called a coronal mass ejection. And no, I really don't know what that means, but it does mess up our power grid a bit. So that is likely to impact the energy sector just a bit. And that is it for today. Again, we try and cut through the noise for you and keep you focused on your long-term goals. Remember, this is John Browning with Guardian Rock Wealth at guardianrockwealth.com. Reach out to us. We'd love to help you in your personal situation when and if we can. And if we can't, we'd love to introduce you to someone who can help you. We're well connected, and we work with people that we know, that we like, that we trust, that we can send you to help you build your best life as you define it using the tool that we call money. Visit us at guardianrockwealth.com. We'll talk to you soon.